Maureen, the new champion, the former champion of Bikini, returns, wins her title again. Let's look at her comparisons here from when she won the last Olympia to this year's Olympia. The changes she made, the way her physique looked, and where Bikini division is heading right now for the rest of this season with the few comps that are left, and then into 2026, the season of Bikini, what you need to know, what the judges are looking for. That's what we're going to break down today. So let's get to it. So this is 2022 Olympia here on the right. This is Maureen's win that year. When she won that title, she became the Olympia Bikini champion for the first time. After that, she did not, 2023, Jen Dory won. 2024, she did not compete. 2025, Maureen is back, and she is the now current standard for Bikini, okay? Big differences in her look, big differences in her physique. And I think these are big indicators for where the division is heading right now. So let's take a look. So 2022 Maureen, right? She had good shoulder shape overall. It really created that width up top, super narrow waist look for her. And, it tapered in very well. Lower body was super balanced. Maureen is a very symmetrical competitor, right? So she has that upper glute, the overall glute development, and her legs, her quads, and her hamstrings don't overpower any bit of her physique, bringing through, the iconic bikini hourglass shape that we see on stage. Conditioning wise, always soft lines for Maureen here. So, a little bit of separation in the glutes, a little bit in the oblique, a little bit in the shoulders. When she won this, it was a pretty clear message. Judges were trying to, stop some of the bigger looks in bikini, stop some of the leaner looks in bikini. And I think yet again, here we are. 2025, they're doing that same thing. We're doing that same thing with Maureen coming to champion. However, different look for Maureen now, right? So we look at Maureen now, and instantly what we can say is she's brought more muscle. She's got a lot more size, a lot more fullness here. So she has bigger shoulders overall than she did in 2022. We see a little bit more of that shape to that lateral deltoid, the front delt, everything bringing that fullness through. The next thing we will see is her midsection appears a bit more muscle dense. So a little bit thicker, right? Over here, this is, kind of a little bit more of a vacuumed type look. We see a lot more of that rib coming through over here. We see all of that because it's lean and it was kind of vacuumed in. Over here, we're starting to see a lot more of, actual oblique density. This is muscle structure and the serratus. All this comes from having more muscle in general on your physique, right? And I know this from coaching, and I know this from working with many, many bikini athletes over the years. When you are training hard and you're training, for muscle and you're training like that for a long time, you start to get more of that coming through, right? A little bit more of that muscle density look in all your muscle versus just the shape. So Maureen 2022, lots of shape, lots of a good look there. Maureen 2025, the current bikini standard, definitely showcasing a lot more muscle. So bikini competitors, you're building, you're growing, your fullness. What you need to be focused on is fullness right now, this season, and especially into next season. Now, lower body-wise, biggest differences here, right? So Maureen has really good shape to the glutes. 2022, obviously, upper glutes filled out. It's all in good balance. Basically, she brought that same thing to a bigger level here, 2025. So upper glute is still there, very pronounced, very prominent, more fullness overall in her glutes though, and we do see a lot more muscle density in her legs than we did 2022. So this is, again, a pretty big indicator. A lot of people were like, I know I was getting messages all day and all week, I've still been getting them about Maureen. How did Maureen do that? How did she win? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not understanding. Well, if you didn't watch the full breakdown, the top 16, go back, watch that. It's a long video, but I highlight all the reasons, literally for all the top 16 competitors, what the differences are and why she still obviously has that title. But if you're seeing it here and you're not, you're still wondering, right? You're wondering, how does she get that? Well, it's because she leveled up all the way, right? She continued to improve every single muscle group. She improved her condition, and she brought in, that look that judges do want to see in this division, which is fullness and it's softness, right? She was a tad soft here. She'll probably go tighten up a bit for the next one. We probably won't see her on stage for another year at this point, though. But so who knows where bikini is by then? But for now, she was a tad softer here for sure. Maybe she needed to be, could have probably been a little leaner, but she still wins the dang Olympia. It's a clear message from the judges. They want that fullness. They want that shoulder shape. They want this look to be, very balanced, very symmetrical, but based on muscle, right? You got to remember this. And I've been saying this quote more and more to my clients recently. You know, you're not in a Biggest Loser challenge or something like that when you're on prep, right? You're not on a fat loss challenge. You're not on a scale, I want to watch the scale go down challenge. You are a bodybuilder. All right. And that's the same in bikini. It's the same thing. So she built her body more. She still got really good shape, symmetry, proportion, all of it balanced. She brought it to stage. She wins the Olympia, right? It's a great standard for bikini because there were bigger and leaner athletes on those stages, and they are not the ones that won, which again indicates judges don't want to see that super hard lean look in bikini right now. They don't want to see, you know, really, really big shoulders and these imbalanced, in other words, physiques. They don't want to see that. Maureen has that symmetry. She's got that shape. She locks it all in. Conditioning, you know, showcases very well here. Still pulling through some lines. And it is pretty big difference, honestly, from 2022. It's like looking at, you know, a before and an after in a way, right? This is where she started. This is where she's at now. So again, pretty big message. Bikini competitors, build that muscle. Fill out your physiques. I bet a lot bikini competitors in next season, a lot of feedback's going to be more muscle. You need to build more. You need to do more there, right? So let's look here now. 2022, again, over on the right, to 2025, right here. So pretty big differences yet again, but a lot of the same. Maureen basically just improved, so it's not like dramatic, like, oh, this is so much different. Really what she did is she had the good shape here, everything tapered in, it's all there, upper glute development, overall glute development, pulls that tie in through, great balance between the quads and the hamstrings. Classic Maureen look, very symmetrical. I mean, Maureen is probably the most symmetrical bikini competitor out there, period, right now. And that's just what happens when you are the Olympia champion. And it's, again, what they're aiming for in this division. And if we look over here, 2025, it's all the same stuff. We're going to see it across the board. We see the shoulder shape. We see it taper in. We see everything there. Upper glute density, more glute development, stronger tie-in, a little bit more of that hamstring, but still good balance between everything. So what changed? She just muscled up. She's got more muscle over here. A lot more muscle this year, a lot more fullness this year, a lot of a different look than we were seeing just a few years back. And that's the rodeo of these divisions. That's the rodeo of bikini, right? If you look at bikini since it started 2010, it's like, what the heck is going on, right? You couldn't even look back and guess what the criteria would be today. So the criteria today, though, is screaming more fullness, more muscle, and softer conditioning. Right, bigger, leaner athletes either way are not the ones that are winning. And, you know, even looking at just Maureen to Maureen, that is what she did. She came bigger and she came softer. More muscle over here and softer over here. Wins the Olympia again. So really big differences. I want to know what you think in the comments. Let me know. And also, I got a 7-day free coaching trial. You can train with me free for 7 days. We are going to get rid of this soon. So now is the time to jump in, get on here. Train me free. You want to figure out your best bikini physique. You want to know the points you need to work on. You want to know what exercise to do, what training split, what nutrition, all of it. What do you need help with posing, whatever it is. Come train me free for 7 days. I got a free experience here. Come hit it. Come on over. It takes you 1 minute to sign up. You're not going to get billed for nothing. You don't put payment info in. Nothing like that happens. It's just a totally free experience to give back to the bodybuilding world. So that's why I do it, and that's what we're going to do, and that's where it still is. But if we look at Maureen here, this is an indicator. More muscle, a little bit softer. Bigger athletes, bigger delts, all that went away this year. Leaner athletes, striations, cuts, and veins and grains went away this year. Pretty big statement for where bikini is heading. And you want to have more muscle, bikini compares. You want to also make sure your conditioning's not coming too hard. Also, obviously, not too soft, but you want to be softer in general at this point. And those are the biggest differences that we're going to see on Maureen's physique here in these years. And, it's a pretty big difference, folks. Pretty big difference, but a great direction for bikini, I think. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan, he's out.